Probably Anderson's, there were a
Yeah,
lot of
Anderson's
Andersons.
up there, yeah.
That's probably.
And then-
And Cecil, your cousin Van Kuren, he said he went to Highland.
Well, yeah, they used to walk
Across.
right across that, where the road used to go across the swamp. There's a bridge from Maple Tree Corner, and then walk up the hill to the
That
high
went
school.
way down and
Yeah,
way
all
up.
Yeah.
All the Van Kuren went there for a while.
That's right, he too.
Lyle did?
Huh?
Lyle Van Kuren went there?
I think he went there for a while too, but
Okay.
I know my mother went up there for a couple of years, and then she went to Kingston School.
Because I never could figure out at the end why they kept that school open, because that couldn't have been more than 6 or 8
I
kids.
know.
And that was the days when you walked to school, you didn't ride to school.
Well, you know, the Wheelers, Gladys and Roy Sandals' wife.
Yeah,
Rosemary.
Rose, yeah, they walked down through the woods from way over.
yeah, because they went through the power line there. The power line that came up right off,
Okay.
and then went right straight across and came out over at
A
Christensen's Corner.
long way they walked through the woods.
Yeah.
Were school buses always available when you were a kid?
Well, Kingston school bus was one bus, and they called it the cracker box. And it was just straight-sided and,
We call it the cheese box.
yeah. But there was only that was the only bus that the Kingston School District had. The kids all coming from the South Kingston area all rode the high school bus into Kingston, and then they would let them off at 8 o'clock, and then they had the bus came at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then took them back out to South Kingston.
Well, we're older, and so when we went,
Yes.
Walt Kokenauer was the driver, and the bus was a big blue bus. And it wasn't very good, because we were sitting in the front row. Jane Lyman was next to Walt Kokenauer, and then somebody, and I was sitting on Millie Mukai's lap, and we were coming around near the Slough Bridge. Before we got there, there was a bend in the road, and the door flew open, and I flew out the door and landed on my head. I've still got the bump. It was in the first grade, and I had long white stockings on. I got them all green with grass. And poor Mr. Kokenauer, I thought he was going to have a heart attack right there. He picked me up, I was unconscious, and he took me home then down to his wife, and she cleaned me up, put mercurochrome on my wounded knee, and fixed me all up. I lived to tell the
Did
tale.
you know Don Mills?
No,
Was that
but I heard a lot about them. They were friends of your mother and dad.
Well, Don was telling me, I didn't know this, that when he was in high school, he turned out for basketball. There was no players bus. He had to walk, but he hitchhiked, and Percy White would pick him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when we were playing football during the war, there was no players bus.
Was it?
And what we lucked out, because there was buses running from the Navy Yard to Kingston,
Oh,
and if we went down to Irish's Corner, and the bus driver went like this, that meant there was an inspector on board, and we had to walk home from Paulsbo's. But most of the time, it was only one night that the guy actually wouldn't let us on the bus. The rest of the time, but there was no players bus at that time either.
My grandmother drove the first motorized school bus to Kingston.
What year was that?
I think it was, let's see, 1921.
Uh-huh.
And that's a picture in the,
Yeah,
In
Yes,
the
sir.
little
Of
city
her
bus
driving
scene.
that
yeah.
old Buick, 1914 Buick with the school bus. A Buick truck.
Yeah, and then Alfie and I rode on the orange bus when
Yeah.
Mr. Sam Lyman was
Sam
the
Lyman.
driver
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah, he drove for
Sam Lyman.
years.
He was the driver then most of the
Yeah.
time that we went to school.
Did any of you go to the same school?
We all
We
went.
all went to the Kingston Grade
I went
School.
first 1 through 7, and then at the 8th grade, they had put the new junior high school in at Paulsbo, so then we went over there. But all these all went to,
8 years.
So I went to sixth grade and then went to Paulville.
yeah,
Because you're younger.
They
They
went
built
to
a
the
junior
sixth.
high.
yeah,
Did-
because
I
did you
went
say-
through the 6th grade over here, and then when they had the 7th grade, they just started going over to junior
That's
high.
right, yeah, okay.
About 1943 or 44.
Well, 42 was when the school, because we were in, when the war started, I was in 7th grade. And the next year, we went to junior high school in Paulville.
Yeah.
Because I taught at Little Boston, 42, 43,
Yeah.
and we had all 8 grades there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because,
Did they have a new school when you taught down there?
Brand new school,
Yeah,
two-room
that's what I-
school, beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They had all 8 grades there.
well, where were you going to school when we went to play, I wasn't there, but the Kingston school went to play Little Boston in baseball. And they got there and the coach for the teacher for the Little Boston team had eaten some bad tuna fish or something and actually died that day.
Oh, no.
But they had to take him by rowboat from Little Boston over to the hospital in Port Gamble,
Yeah.
and he didn't make it.
Well, that was either before or after my time. I don't know anything about that.
Yes, there was a hospital in Port Gamble.
Oh, yes.
Gamble for quite
All
a
the
number of
babies were
years.
born there.
Yes, one of my friends, her
Uh-huh.
children were born at the hospital.
My sister was born in the hospital in
Mhm.
Port Gamble.
That doctor was there for a long.
Dr. Davis?
Yeah, he was there forever.
What are some of the changes in Kingston since you were young that you like or dislike or are familiar with?
Well, there's quite a few changes, but I'm not sure whether you would consider them, some are for the good and some are for the bad. I mean, the marina is there, it wrecked a perfectly good fishing dock, and from that aspect, because that was one of the things we did as kids for entertainment, was to go down and fish off the dock. And one of the ways we made money was that we'd have 4 or 5 guys down on the float, and then one guy up above in his street clothes, and he'd say, oh, when people came off the ferry or waiting for the ferry, they'd throw money out, and then we'd go down and pick it up. And he'd get them, we'd kind of feed them, and then we'd get the rest of the people to throw money in. And if we didn't get it on the first dive, we'd wait till the next morning when the tide was low, and if there was only about 6 feet of water there, then we could go pick up all the money that we missed the day before.
Oh, my word.
You know, the one thing that bothers me, and I'm not against the marina, but the one thing I remember as a child was the herring runs. And the herring would be driven against the dock by the salmon, and you could go down on the dock and catch salmon. And they pull beach scenes where this picture is taken right next to it. They pull a beach scene and sink a 10-foot rowboat off a little beach scene with herring, which I'm sure spawned in there, and I don't think you have it anymore.
No, I walk down the fishing dock and I keep looking for fish. I can't even find one. And we used to have all those little shiners around the islands.
You still got some of those, the marina does have a lot of them, but as I said, there's not the herring in the bay that there used to
I
be.
don't think there is, Jack.
Yeah.
I keep looking for fish. I don't even see one.
Who
Not
remembers
one.
the sunfish that was down
Yeah, caught under the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in, that